the Snow Queen and the Lost Kingdom. Once upon a time, in a distant land where winter reigned eternal, there was a hidden kingdom called Glacia. This kingdom was a place of unimaginable beauty, where every tree was adorned with sparkling icicles, and the ground was covered in a thick blanket of snow. The people of Glacia were kind-hearted and strong, used to the cold but warmed by their unity and love for each other. They were ruled by Queen Seraphina, a wise and compassionate monarch with a unique gift, the ability to control snow and ice. Queen Seraphina was as beautiful as the first frost of winter, with hair as silver as moonlight and eyes that shimmered like the deepest blue ice. Her powers were extraordinary. She could summon blizzards, shape majestic ice sculptures, and even command the northern lights to dance across the sky. But despite her immense power, Seraphina was known for her gentle heart and deep care for her people. However, there was one thing that troubled Queen Seraphina. A mysterious darkness had begun to creep into the edges of her kingdom. The once vibrant and lively forests surrounding Glacia were slowly withering away, the animals disappearing and the rivers freezing solid, never to flow again. The source of this darkness was unknown, but Seraphina could sense that it was no ordinary winter. It was something far more sinister. One evening, as the queen stood on her icy balcony overlooking her kingdom, she was visited by her trusted advisor, an ancient owl named Sage. Sage had been with Seraphina since she was a child and had guided her through many challenges. "Your Majesty," Sage hooted softly, "I fear the darkness that encroaches upon Glacia is the work of the Shadow Witch, Morwenna." Seraphina's heart sank. Morwenna was a name from the darkest of legends, a sorceress who was said to have been banished from Glacia centuries ago for her cruel and twisted magic. If she had returned, it meant that Glacia was in grave danger. "We must act swiftly, Sage," Seraphina said, determination filling her heart. "I will venture into the shadowed lands and confront Morwenna myself." "But Your Majesty," Sage cautioned, "Morwenna's power is not to be taken lightly. She wields the magic of darkness, a force that even your ice and snow may not be able to withstand." "I understand the risk," Seraphina replied, her voice steady. "But as queen, it is my duty to protect my people, no matter the cost." With Sage by her side, Seraphina prepared for her journey. She dressed in her warmest cloak, its white fur as soft as freshly fallen snow, and packed a small bag with provisions. As she stepped out of her palace, the moonlight cast a silvery glow on the snow-covered ground, and the northern lights danced above as if wishing her well on her perilous quest. The journey to the shadowed lands was long and arduous. The cold grew harsher with each step, and the winds howled like wild beasts. But Seraphina pressed on, driven by her love for Glacia and her determination to save her kingdom. As she ventured deeper into the darkness, the landscape around her changed. The snow became gray and lifeless, the trees twisted and bare, their branches reaching out like the claws of some ancient creature. Finally, after days of travel, Seraphina arrived at the edge of the shadowed lands. Before her stood a towering fortress of black ice, its walls gleaming with an eerie, unnatural light. This was Morwenna's lair. Taking a deep breath, Seraphina entered the fortress, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of dark magic. The walls were lined with twisted ice sculptures, grotesque figures frozen in expressions of agony. As Seraphina made her way through the labyrinthine corridors, she could feel Morwenna's presence growing stronger, like a storm gathering on the horizon. At last, Seraphina reached the heart of the fortress, a vast chamber of ice where Morwenna sat on a throne carved from the darkest obsidian. The Shadow Witch was as terrifying as the legends had described, with long, flowing hair as black as midnight and eyes that glowed with an unnatural crimson light. Well, well, if it isn't the Snow Queen herself, Morwenna sneered, her voice dripping with malice. Come to challenge me in my own domain? How bold, but foolish. I have come to end your reign of darkness, Morwenna, Seraphina declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. You will not take Glacia from me or my people. Morwenna laughed, a cold, hollow sound that sent shivers down Seraphina's spine. You think you can defeat me with your little tricks of ice and snow? My power is far greater than yours, child. With a wave of her hand, Morwenna unleashed a torrent of dark magic, a swirling vortex of shadows that threatened to engulf Seraphina. But the queen stood her ground, summoning her own power to create a shield of pure ice around her. The dark magic clashed against the ice, but Seraphina's will was strong, and the shield held. Realizing she couldn't win by sheer force, Seraphina closed her eyes and focused on the one thing that had always given her strength, the love she had for her people, for Glacia, and for the beauty of the winter she so cherished. She let that love fill her heart, pushing out all fear and doubt. And as she did, she felt a new power awakening within her, a warmth that began to spread from her heart, down through her veins, and into the very air around her. Morwenna's eyes widened in shock as the warmth in the chamber grew, melting the dark ice and banishing the shadows. What is this? She hissed, recoiling as the light and warmth surged toward her. This, Seraphina said, her voice steady and strong, is the power of love and light, something your darkness can never defeat. With a final mighty effort, Seraphina unleashed the full force of her newfound power. The light burst forth, filling every corner of the chamber, purging the darkness, and breaking Morwenna's hold on the fortress. The Shadow Witch screamed in agony as the light consumed her, her form dissolving into nothingness. As the last of Morwenna's dark magic vanished, the fortress began to crumble. Seraphina quickly made her way out, Sage guiding her back to safety. Outside, the once darkened landscape of the shadowed lands began to thaw. The gray snow turned pure white again, the twisted trees began to straighten, and a gentle warmth spread through the air. When Seraphina returned to Glacia, she was greeted with joyous celebrations. The people cheered for their brave queen, who had saved them from the encroaching darkness. Seraphina knew, though, that it was not just her power over ice and snow that had saved the day, but the warmth and love she carried within her. From that day forward, Queen Seraphina ruled Glacia with a newfound wisdom. She understood that true strength came not from power alone, but from the love and kindness that resided in every heart. Under her care, Glacia flourished, becoming a beacon of light and warmth even in the coldest of winters. And so, the Snow Queen, who once faced the darkness alone, found that the greatest power of all was the one that could never be extinguished, the power of love.